Hey, good evening, welcome back. Hope everybody's doing well, you're all behaving and stuff, and having a good week. Today is Wednesday, isn't it? I'm kind of a little bit lost in time. Yeah, Wednesday today. And here we are this week for week 15 of the tour, taking us today from Boston to Indianapolis. I will take the New England Patriots to the Indianapolis Colts. That's the menu for today on the 777-300 American Airlines flight 4584, which is a real flight, but not on the 777, of course. I think it's on one of those regional jets once again, like an Embraer or something. So, but today we'll do it on the 777. There's a lot of people to carry across, so there you go. So I hope everybody's doing well. Here we are. Everything seems to be good. I'll enable the sound for pilot. Here we go. And yeah, we got FS2 crew, like always. Bring FS2 crew and do the PF events.
Hi, Captain. How are you today?
I'm great. Then it's -40.
I'm out for the walk around.
for the walk around.
Boston traffic, Japan Air 1725.
Ooh, Japan Air in Boston.
Established on runway 15 right.
Fantastic.
Boston traffic.
Cool. So, she's out for the walk around. Like always, we'll switch on the ADIRU, the emergency lights, and check on the status if there's anything significant. And it's just the TCAS. It's normal. The TCAS is off at this stage, so that's the only system actually which shows here on the status for some reason. It's it just shows. There's a lot of other systems which are currently off on the aircraft, but the TCAS for some reason is showing, so there you go. Anyway, then we'll jump on the FMC and check, like always, the island page is the 777-300.2. That's for the ER version or variant. All know about variant, so here you go. G90 engines, Iraq 2112 to the 30th of December, so just before New Year's Eve. And the Dragon fuel flow, like always, here we don't really play with it. We are in Boston, so that's KBOS. And we'll take the GPS position of the in here. Cool. And then do the route request, and then type in the airport. So that just gives the list from Boston, and it's the route obviously to Indianapolis today. So select this one and
Boston traffic, Japan Air 1705.
the data
final,
link.
runway 15 right, 6 miles from touching down. Boston traffic.
So the pressure is very high, 1037 hectopascals in inches of mercury. Is going to be 3062. Wow, it's amazing. Very high pressure. Right, so we got the uplink ready message, which will clear, and then load the uplink, and then the route 1 uplink loading message will clear as well. So we go from Boston to Indianapolis on the American. It's not AAA, it's just AAL. 4584, like so. And then we've got the route there to Blizzard, direct to Bath, Quebec 4802 Air, and then direct to Winter. So that's good. You can activate and execute that one. Perfinite, I'll reject it like always. Check with the flight plan today. The alternate is Chicago, and the FMC reserve is 9.1. So 9.1 is the fuel to go to Chicago, and then still have about half an hour of extra fuel there if everything is gone to pot. 360 will be our cruise altitude, and cost index 1. Then I'll just double check here. We'll make the engine out 1000, although nothing's gonna happen. We'll make this one 3000, then 1500 again. Beautiful. Okay, okay. Right, in departure arrival, let's have a look what the weather is doing. I do believe 1-5 right is better. I think at the moment it's actually 2-2 left and right in real, if I can say that. I hate this comparison between the real and the simulation, but so METAR KBOS 090 at 6. So yeah, 2-2 is not really good actually. Why are they using 2-2? We'll go for 1-5. Anyway, there's no ATC at the moment here, so go for 1-5. Somebody is arriving on 1-5 right as well, so I think 1-5 right is good. 1-5 left is a very short runway, so we don't really use it. Maybe for like a Cessna or something, but not for any airliners actually. So 1-5 right and the Blizzard 5. Makes me feel cold, just that Blizzard name. Right, so here we are, it's all in there. Cool, so we'll have a look at the charts. Where are we? Oh. So a quick outlook of the here. Yeah, kind of standard, nothing really very exciting. Here it is. Just takes a little bit of time, it's thinking about it. So we'll go for the Blizzard 5. Here we are. And oh yeah, this is the way to... Cool. So we're gonna go from yeah, runway 15 right, 150 heading. Make this one already 150, that's probably the runway heading. And then turn right to Tasked. So we've got 150 intercept heading to Tasked, so that's good. Then we go to Bro. Alright, Bro. 3250 max. That's really the max it can do, I would imagine. And then to Jaite and to Yumo, max 260. Oh, that's interesting. 5000 or above. And then to Kenway, and finally to Blizzard. So we got Kenway and Blizzard, so that's good. Or Blazer. Blizzard or Blazer, something like that. Top altitude down here is 5000, so we'll set 5000 just in case ATC comes up. And yeah, been good. No exit 250 until passing Bro, and 260 until passing Yumu. And do not exceed 210 knots until 520. Yeah, that one is a no-brainer because you're climbing at V2 plus 20, so you're not gonna get to 210 basically, unless you're some sort of like fighter jet or something.
Crossing traffic, Japan Airlines
Cool. So that's that sorted out.
Crossing runway.
And then
right.
on the route data,
Air,
we'll load the winds. Here we are. And then go to the descent forecast. And load again. Beautiful. Avrad, we don't need to put anything. Progress page, we got 774 for a distance of 802 on the flight plan, so that matches close enough. We'll do a route copy onto route 2, then back to route 1. FMC com page, there's nothing left here to use. And yeah, we'll make this one 18,000 feet, 250 below 10,000. That's good.
Crossing traffic,
Perfect.
Japan Airlines 5, crossing runway 4 left.
Right, let's see.
On from Charlie.
I'm back from the walk
back
around.
from the
Everything
walk
looks
around.
good.
Hi guys, can we start boarding now?
Yes.
Thanks.
And let's do boarding. Oh yeah, and it's waiting for the door closure there. So doors close, so that gets rid of the catering. And let's request the boarding. Not gonna board 500 people, but maybe 40 is good. Just to have the the boarding simulation in the background. Cool. Gonna do the pre-flight flow. I'll do my own flow as well. Start with the FS panel. The altimeter was 3060 here, but the B function is giving me 3062, so keep the B function, I guess, because that's why it's in the sim. Flight director comes on, and then there's the oxygen. Good. And the PFD is all set. The navigation display as well. This 1 inches of mercury as well. And everything else is good. Beautiful. Let's bring the briefing tab. Bring, well, a little bit of briefing for FS to crew. So we are at the gate. We're gonna use the transponder. Reduce the thrust, of course, like always. Takeoff config is 15, packs are on. Anti-ice and ADP is now required. Thrust reduction is 1500, acceleration 3000. We're gonna follow the SID. That's for, like always, weather and terrain, so that FS2 crew displays the terrain on the FO side. Cool. Excellent. All done. Excellent. He's gonna be well. She's gonna be finished, I think. They're running the checks.
TCAS test pass.
Excellent. TCAS test pass. And we are boarding. Beautiful. Good morning. Welcome on board. Oh, welcome on board. Good morning.
I am ready for the checklist.
Let's do the checklist. Before coffee, checklist complete. Pre-flight checklist.
Pre-flight checklist. Oxygen.
Tested 100%.
Tested 100%. Flight instruments.
Heading 238, altimeter 3062.
Heading 238. Altimeter
Hey, got it.
3062. Pre-flight checklist
Oh,
complete.
you got 2 passengers and a main deck full of cargo. Oh, beautiful. Where are you flying? Where are you flying, macro flight? Cool. So that's gonna be it. Then I'll start the APU. In the meantime, only 5 degrees. Once you get people on, it kind of warms up a little bit, but 5 degrees is maybe a little bit cold in the cabin. The temperature. 8 degrees, 9 degrees. It's a little bit chilly, yeah? It's maybe optimistic. Oh, you're flying along. Cool. Excellent, microflight. Excellent, excellent. FedEx. I saw there were FedEx flights actually listed on that route. So they must be doing a little bit of cargo flying. And my PP, how are you doing? Good evening. Welcome back. I hope everything's okay.
Hi, thank you.
Right. So let's do this one. Zero fuel weight today is 219.1. Sell that one here. Got 25.7 tons of fuel. Yeah, that's what we need. Gives us a gross weight at the moment of about 244.8.
Hi.
Burn a little bit of the fuel on the taxi there, so I'll take off around 244, 244 and a half. Yeah, it's a 767, but of course you can adapt. There's no worries at all. Assume temperature today. Gonna use. What did I calculate? 75. Yeah, it's still very light. And runway 15 right is a long run. Issues there, so gives us a good reduction. The temperature is cold, 5 degrees Celsius. The altimeter setting is very high pressure, so that gives like you know, a lot of air for the engines to ingest and then go at the back of the engine. So that's good. Flaps, no, first this one, yeah. Then flaps is 15. Yeah. CG from PMDG will take it here, 29%, or the equivalent of 5.25 units of trim. And the speed should be 152. God, they're way off today with PMDG again. 154 and 157. So the V2 is actually correct. So it kind of shows you that maybe the V2 here with PMDG is kind of a good number basically, whereas the V1 and the rotate are like totally off. God, 136.144. So imagine like with the numbers given by PMDG, that's why I was reading some people were having trouble like practicing V1 cuts and stuff like that, because if you got the V1 cut, just, you know, after V1 you go V1, poof, it breaks down. Then it has to accelerate to 144 for you to rotate. And after the rotation, it still needs to accelerate to 157. And that's why that's why it doesn't work. That's really why it doesn't work. It's, some people are saying, oh, I practice like, you know, V1 cuts and I can't get it to fly. That's because the speeds given here are totally off. Hey, good, my PPL, good. Hope, was it your daughter was sick and stuff? Hopefully everything is back in order. That's, it seems to be the fashionable thing at the moment again, so. So the V2 is 157. LNAV and VNAV are showing in white here, so it's just the arm. We got track 150 and 5000. Cool. Let's disconnect the ground power. Ground flight deck.
Go ahead.
Please disconnect the ground equipment.
Roger.
Beautiful. It's the FedEx 1610. Cool. See you. Very reminiscent of the Boston skyline. And it's on way, of course. A lot of people are going to say, oh, but this is P3D. It's rubbish. It looks like, you know, cubes. That still gives you a bit of a feel for the place. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you are FedEx. Fantastic. Hey, French pilot, how you doing? Welcome back. How are things with the upcoming job? Right, so, yeah, we're pretty much set up, really. This, I will change back this page. I'm just waiting for the boarding. They loaded all the luggage, but the passengers coming on. Beautiful. Shouldn't take too long because 40.
Hello.
Hello, hello. Right, so I do hope that the computer is gonna stay with me. Believe it or not, yesterday I did fly. Well, I was not actively flying the thing, but I was kind of monitoring from a distance and kind of coming in and out of the man's cave to keep an eye on things. But I flew the cross the pond route, so I did like 6.5 hours, and yeah, I managed to complete the flight, no problem. So yeah, the simulator or the computer seemed to be fine yesterday, so hopefully today the truth is gonna be okay as well. Oh, cool. So the type rating in February. Happy days. Signed everything. Yeah. So as you told me, it was a self-sponsored type rating and then a contract of 1 year. Is that correct? Cool. Here we are. So accelerate the timeline because thing 5 she's gonna make the speech.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board today.
There
As
we
you
are.
locate your assigned seats, please place your smaller items under the seat in front of you to provide more room for larger items in our overhead compartments. If you need assistance, contact a flight attendant. If you are unable to accommodate any item in the cabin, please bring it to the boarding door and we will check it for you. Also,
Don't
review
come in
the
the cabin with like
instruction
huge
card in your
bags.
seat pocket. If you are seated at an exit seat, also review the exit seating criteria.
Here we are.
Alright guys, everyone's seated. We're all buttoned up and ready to go in the back.
Thanks.
If you need anything, just let me know.
Ground flight deck.
Go ahead.
Can we pressurize hydraulics?
Roger, you're clear to pressurize the hydraulics.
Right, so we can pressurize the hydraulics. First of all, arm the doors. Here we are. Before start procedure.
Are we clear to pressurize?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Clear to pressurize hydraulics. Yes, so contract until the end of 2022. Okay, that's cool. After that, yeah, then it's did they explain what the process is after 2022? Is it a matter of, well, if they're happy with you, they keep you, or is it kind of opened? There's no really
I am ready for the checklist.
any particular arrangement, or how is it set up? And 5.25 on the trim. Cool. Let's do the checklist. Before start, checklist.
Before start checklist. Flight deck door. Closed and locked. MCP.
Set and checked.
Takeoff speeds.
Set and checked.
CDU preflight.
Completed.
Completed. Trim.
Set and checked.
Taxi and takeoff briefing.
Completed.
Before start checklist complete.
Jeez. Right. Test to crew. Prepare for back and departure. Want to start the engines? No. The door. Hey, Rabba, no worries, man. There's no on time or being late here. You just rock up whenever you can. I hope you had a good day. Welcome back. Thank you for the document you sent. You know, the A380, the 320 kind of like checklist. Thank you.
Locking gear.
Oh, that's good then. At least if they offer a permanent contract, that's a good thing. Yeah, it's closed. They are in place. Boston traffic, American 4584 pushing back from Echo 5. And nose to the left. What two?
Departure check completed. Bypass pin inserted. Release parking brakes.
Parking brake released.
Commencing push.
Un poquito late,
All
23.
engines clear. Start at will.
It's okay. Start sequence is 1 then 2.
Check.
Start the left engine.
Starting left.
Right, so up there the star switch goes to start, and down here on the fuel control
Once
switch
again, ladies
to
and gentlemen,
run.
welcome on board our flight today. This is the lead flight attendant speaking. Please direct your attention to the cabin crew for port safety information. There is an instruction card in your seat
hope
pocket
there's
that
nobody.
illustrates the safety equipment on this aircraft. Regulations
the airport is
require
relatively
compliance with
empty,
this information
really.
as well as all crew instructions, lighted information signs,
what have I
and
done?
posted placards.
Donkey.
Fasten your
Pushed in the
seatbelt
wrong
by
direction.
inserting the metal tip into the buckle.
Doesn't matter.
Tighten
Anyway.
by pulling on the belt. To release your seatbelt, lift the metal
No.
flap on the buckle.
I was thinking of
Ensure
3-3 actually for some reason.
fastened at all times while seated.
God.
Doors are clearly
Well, at
marked
least I'm not
with
taxiing to the wrong one.
instructions
Way.
for door
The push,
operation.
it's easy to rectify.
Each door
There's
is
a little.
escape
Boston traffic, FedEx.
I can go here and
Locate
back
the
down.
exit
It's
nearest
okay. It's
you
not
and
that
your
bad.
exit may be behind you. In an emergency, lights will illuminate the aisle. The cabin is pressurized. If there is a loss of cabin
Start the
pressure,
right
panel
engine.
will open and oxygen
Starting
mask will
right.
appear. Remain seated with your seatbelt
Yeah,
fastened
we'll
to
fly
the
to the
mask
end, of
towards you to
course.
Start the flow of oxygen. Oxygen will be flowing to the mask even though the bag may not
Oil
inflate.
pressure.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your flight.
And Dark
By the way, is
Slayer.
there anyone on board who knows how to
Okay.
fly a plane?
Thank you very much for the follow. See you from time to time. Oh, and FedEx is pushing as well. Beautiful.
Flotation device. Pull up and
At least you are pushing in the correct direction.
aircraft. Place your arms around the cushion and hold
I
it.
can't believe
Strap
I'm pushing in
it
the
on
flipping
fast.
wrong direction.
This is a
Yeah.
non-smoking flight. Smoking
God.
is not permitted in the cabin
Set
or
parking brakes.
lavatories. Cabin lights will now be turned off. Reading light buttons are located above
Parking
you.
brake set. Yeah. No, we don't have good engine starts yet. To wait for those engines to start. One is already started, but the second one is still on the way. Yeah, there's a chance from time to time, you know, to see you on the, or to hear you on the airwaves. Definitely, I'm a French pilot. Confirm good engine start. Yes, here we go. Flaps 15.
Flaps 15.
Cool. Gonna offer on the flight control synoptic there page. You can check the flight controls. Although you don't have to open the flight
Unlocking
control
gear.
synoptic here. Cool. I think the
Tow truck
the
disconnected.
altimeter has
Bypass
changed,
pin
yeah.
removed.
3060, so it's been updated. It's okay, I can come out here onto Zulu. Ah no! Ah, this was good, actually. This is what I'm looking for. Or is there another... Oh yeah, no, you can go full length, yeah. Yeah, so it's not too bad. The situation is rescuable. So we'll take left here on Zulu, and then go left on Bravo,
Left is
and
clear.
take full length.
Right is clear.
Because I calculated full length, so you have to go full length. Left, right, huh? It's the same thing after all. Right, he's on a wave. Oh, he's walking away actually. Where is he? Ah! Yeah, he's walking away. So,
Boston traffic.
we'll
FedEx
check the
inbound
rudders.
Taxi holding point 15 right via Alpha and Lima.
Cool. And checklist then. Before taxi checklist.
Before taxi checklist. Anti-ice. Auto. Recall. Checked. Flight controls.
Checked.
Ground equipment.
Clear.
Before taxi checklist complete.
Clear left.
Clear right.
Boston traffic, American 4584 heavy, taxiing to holding point on 5 right. Let's go! So, parking brake released.
You're nice.
Okay, log off thrust here. That's it. Left on Zulu here. And then we'll go full length. The shame if I had calculated from Zulu, I could have gone from Zulu. It would have been actually very handy. But cool. The cabin is ready. I'll go on the weather.
The cabin is ready.
Before takeoff checklist.
Cabin crew, take your seats. Before takeoff checklist. Before takeoff checklist complete.
Checklist complete. Yep. It's full length. Runway entry procedure.
Check.
Five right. American 4584 rolling runway 15 right. Takeoff.
Check.
Thrust ref.
Check.
United
Thrust set.
79. Descent for Charles. I go now. And
80 knots.
left.
Hold.
Check.
Boston, Charles.
Boston traffic, FedEx 1610 lining up.
V1.
15
Rotate.
right.
Positive climb.
Gear up.
$400 feet.
Thrust ref.
Check.
Enough speed.
Check. Climb. Check.
My director is very sensitive. Good. Cool, that'll do. Autopilot. Oh, you're gonna be even more confused now if you learn Airbus flaps 5.
Speed check. Flaps 5.
Flaps 1.
Speed check. Flaps 1.
Boston traffic, FedEx 1610 departing runway 15 right.
Flaps up.
Speed check. Flaps up.
Because Airbus callouts are quite different, so you're gonna be well confused. After takeoff checklist.
Interceptor localized.
After takeoff checklist. After takeoff
Boston
checklist
Traffic.
complete.
United
Checkly check.
79.
Oh, okay. So yeah, you've already done a little bit of simulation and stuff, I would imagine, and maybe also the MCC on the Airbus. Is that correct? In that case, yeah, if you're more familiar with Airbus, I would understand that Boeing callouts are a little bit alien, indeed. Right. 4000 blue, nav blue. Oh yeah, man, with all the colors and stuff. Yeah, I have to say for me it's the opposite way. It kind of goes to show you that for me, like all those Airbus callouts don't make much sense. Cool. It's nice, flying nicely around there at the departure. All the restrictions are complied with. So. Hey X3, how you doing? Welcome back. Hope everything's okay. Yeah, we're kind of climbing over the ocean to avoid making noise. We'll go to Indianapolis, where it might be a little bit windy, so. Open climb versus climb, yeah.
10,000 feet.
The open climb as well, at the end of the day, is also not like really, it's not a Boeing concept, it's also kind of Airbus. Because with Boeing, it's level change or VNAV speed, but there's no... With the VNAV, it will take into account, of course, any restrictions in the legs page, which it doesn't if you go like fly level change, for example. So fly level change will be somehow similar to open climb, I guess. And climb is, yeah, via the FMC, what you have set in the FMC, so the VNAV speed here for the moment, which would take into account any restrictions on the way up, yeah. Right, so we maintain 260 until that waypoint there that we looked at on the departure, even though we were like above 10,000 feet, it didn't accelerate to the climb speed. And now it's doing so, it's going up to 320. So. Magnificent. This one is a nice livery, it's really cool. The tail in particular, like they made it really funky. Really nice. No, the 260 is, you know, as I was going through, like during the departure setup, the 260 was just like a limit on the departure at the waypoint. What waypoint was it? Have a look again. Yeah, it was this waypoint here. Oops. That UMO waypoint, so 260, 5,000 feet. So although we were already below, above 10,000, it's still accelerated from 250 to 260, and I guess it's just to keep the turn as tight as possible, not to overshoot too badly the 60, and then after that, yeah, you can. After that, then you can accelerate like as you want. Yeah, above all on a freighter, even if you've got a lot of cargo, given that there's not a lot of fuel on a route like this, you'll be flying like a rocket. Right, standard now. The climb to 360, I think, the plan. 360. Standard set 3 times. Seatbelt sign auto.
Seatbelt signs auto.
Cool. Yeah, maximum 0 fuel weight, but very little fuel today, so... Yeah, you'll go... 260 tons, something like that. The G90 wine is so relaxing, yeah. It has a very distinct noise, I have to say. Sometimes, if you're staying like near an airport, or the wind is favorable and you can hear the noise of the aircraft starting, the way a G90 engine starts is very distinctive. If that's the word. It's got that kind of rumbling sound, and then it's got like a kind of like pitch up sound at the end of the start. These two are like very distinctive. I will be able to tell like the start of a G90 engines with like other engines, like I could tell them apart very easily, but at very like, and then at the end it goes whoop, and stops. Well, I kind of make a silly sound here, but you see what I mean. Yeah, it's a very nice spool up sound indeed. I don't think that other aircraft make like a similar sound, or other engines, I should say. On final, I've not really paid too much attention, to be honest. But yeah, on the start, definitely. Oh god, 73 knots already up here. But it's a little bit on the side, so it's not too bad. We're not even doing 400 knots over the ground yet. Oh well. So is that Blazer or Blizzard? I don't know. Blazer? I know out of Boston there's a bit of a sports theme, some of the departures. Because if I'm not mistaken, yeah, there's a Celtic departure. Celtic is definitely for the Boston Celtics basketball, and Lobster, obviously, that's for that's the seafood or whatever. And there's a Pats. The Pats, that's the Patriots. What do they have? What are the names they have on this one? Blow off when we hide this, did them thick, but yeah, no, nothing really specific. And there's Sox, the Boston Red Sox, I think, in baseball. Some of those names might be like, I don't know, related to baseball, but I don't know. But Sox is definitely the Boston Red Sox. Oh, the speed is varying a little bit there, it's getting bumpy. Let's attach the passengers again. I kind of do more Lido than Jeppesen. I think for example for the 777 I find the Lido actually is maybe a little bit better, because the format of the Jeppesen chart for the 777 are not as good actually, because on the Jeppesen charts, you know, you've got that briefing strip, all those boxes at the top of an ILS chart with the frequency, the final approach course, and it's very useful, for example, on the 737, where you have to use the the nav radio panel to set the ILS frequencies. Got the final approach course to set as well on the MCP. So it's nice to have the information in a condensed form here on the chart. But for the 777, you don't need all that basically. So yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like a bad thing to have the ping strip. I do feel this is maybe more appropriate with the likes of the 737, for example. Hey, Rotterdam, are you doing? Good evening. You're just arriving before we start with the music. Come on, we like the music. Fantastic. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Fantastic, and we love it. Cool. Oh, now we've got a contrail. We are polluting the world and poisoning the world. Isn't it? It's magic, eh? Oh, it's just the exhaust freezing, basically. I like the emote with the. It's a bit of a wintry scenery, huh? In this part of the world, in the winter, the scenery in the sim gets all white. And you, last time I was in Boston, it was all white like that as well. So it's realistic in a way. Yeah, Lido is more for airlines. Yeah, it's true. Oh, Rotterdam, lurk away, sir.
1,000 feet to level off.
1,000, level off. 1,000, level off. So not too bad. 15 minutes to get up here. Good. The wind has dropped a little bit. Nice. It's still 86 knots. But it's dropped and it's come a little bit more on the side. And now we're gonna turn left, so we're gonna turn away from the wind. Wind is gonna become almost like a crosswind, so that's good. We're not gonna be too much affected. And then we got speed and VNAV path. So VNAV path is basically the autopilot mode, maintaining the altitude in relation to what's programmed in the FMC. So, 360 is programmed to maintain the altitude there, so that's what the computer is gonna do. Hey, Ricardo! Awesome! Yes, of course. Everything is awesome. Cool, so that's it. Flight level 360, we can go home. Okay, see you in 1 hour's time, or whenever is the arrival. Nah, I'm only kidding. Hey, my PPL, no worries. Have a good one. See you soon. that's it. I was only kidding. I was not telling you to go. Just when I say, okay, see you next time. We can go home now. Pierre says, oh, goodbye. Right, so 2025. That's the real time. So yeah, it's not too bad in 1 hour and 35 minutes or something. Not bad. 11.1 tons of fuel. I do believe we are going straight in. I think it's runway 23 left. Indy. Very famous, obviously, for the racing, the car racing in Indianapolis, and the basketball at some point was quite good. I think it was the Indiana Pacers or something like that, which was a little bit more famous at the time than the football. But football has been catching up. So you see, as we turn, then we're kind of the wind is gonna become more a crosswind component, so the ground speed is gonna increase, which is what we want. Oh, but the Mach number has reduced as well, no? Which will be possible because if you don't have so much of a headwind, then you don't need to fly as fast. The cost index kind of adapts the speed if you've got less of a headwind. Oh, good, 432 now the ground speed. So yeah, good, excellent. Yeah, so week 15 already today. Oof, time flies. Last week it was fun to fly into Green Bay. That's probably the smallest airport of the whole tour there, so that was good fun. It was a little bit painful to actually manage the flight, but we made it at the end. Right, let's release that, and no electronics as well with auto. This is like an option, as I said before, a little bit like when you go to the car dealer to buy a car, it will give you like some sort of catalog or something with all the different models, and you choose your options, you know. And this is definitely an option because I've never seen it. We don't have the no electronics things. Cool. Check this thing. It's not working. Trying to done. Oh yeah, here it is. Cool. So today en route is not too bad. I don't know if you saw on the news a couple of days ago, there were like a lot of tornadoes in the Midwest and the south of the US. It was quite nasty actually. So it's good. That's maybe the end of the weather front, because it probably moved from, I think one of the states that got the most affected was Kentucky there. Arkansas, so kind of went through the middle here, which is really like the area which is very often affected by the weather, and maybe now it's pushed up there, but obviously lost a bit of the strength with the colder weather and stuff. Further up there's nothing. But on the route today it's looking good, maybe just a little patch here. And that's good. outside again. Yeah, otherwise I hope all the festive preparations are going well. We're not very far now, but what, 10 days away, huh? Yeah, it's next weekend, so I'm sure everybody is getting ready and excited. Cool. Yeah, I really like this tail. It's fantastic. It's really nice. The engine's the size of a 737 fuselage, so they say. I don't know if it's true or not, but I never actually measured it, but they do say that the size of G90 engine there is the size of the 737 fuselage. You can't wait to start reading the FCOM. Yeah, it's I'm sure there's a lot of stuff, because I heard that it's so complex, and then you'll have to learn also all the QRH. The QRH is not so much learn it, because you don't have to know the QRH by heart, all the abnormal checklists, but you have to have like working knowledge of it. So you'll need to be able to find the checklist you require quite quickly, and if there's any little tricks in the checklist or anything, you know, that requires a little bit of attention, or then you'll need to you know, to get familiar with all these little tricks and stuff. Above all with Airbus, when it goes wrong, it can get awfully wrong. You know, with the checklist, apparently it's a little bit more complex. With Boeing, it kind of stays relatively basic and simple, but with Airbus, from what I heard, when things go wrong, it can get a little bit kind of nasty, because the checklist is and the systems are a little bit tricky sometimes. The good old ECAM. Yeah, because that's right. You've got so many different laws because of all the fly-by-wire system and stuff. The fly-by-wire system on the 777 is still relatively basic. You know, it is fly-by-wire because you don't really move cables. It's all, you know, digital and computer signals and stuff. Moving the control surfaces, but it still remains relatively basic and simple, because you have basically like 3 modes. So the kind of primary mode, the secondary mode, and then the direct mode. So oh yeah, because there's no memory items, so everything is on the ECAM. So the ECAM is a little bit like on the 777 here, if you could compare, because I know it's not. It's like comparing apples and oranges, but the checklist basically, or the memory items, will be displayed here on WISE here, the ICAS, but on Airbus the ECAM. So everything will be listed, and you just go through what's written on the screen, isn't it? Yeah, and on the 777, indeed, you have to trim with the fly-by-wire. You trim for speed, whereas from what I understand on Airbus, it's auto trim. So it knows where it is, it knows the trim it needs, and it just does it by itself, which is great as well, I would imagine. I mean, that's something, you know, not to worry about. You just fly. If you want to accelerate, then I don't know, you pitch down a little bit, the aircraft accelerates, and it trims itself. So yeah, definitely has. A lot of guys I've met over the years, I've always said that once you've done Airbus and Boeing, that you'll be keen to stay on Airbus. They do think that it's a little bit, I wouldn't say better, but maybe a little bit more user-friendly, or... But everybody kind of acknowledges that Airbus is definitely more complicated. There's a little bit more of a kind of like a machine element to it. If you see what I mean, it's kind of... It's more like electronics, and Boeing is a little bit more simple in its design and the way it flies and all that stuff. So it's more like a plane. Yeah, you set a pitch attitude and it stays there. Huh? Yeah, yeah. And then it will adjust the speed when you use the flaps and stuff. Yeah, because with Airbus, from what I understand, I mean, that's with my limited knowledge, it's really a matter of like setting like pitch, and if you need like roll, and kind of leave it there. They say even like on a gusty approach, they say like on the 737, you know, we're flying like gusty approaches, we were like, you know, handling, you know, the yoke like crazy, going. But on Airbus, apparently, it's very just put like all inputs, and the thing stays there, even in gusty winds. It's amazing. See how Volanta is doing. How is doing? There was an update when I launched everything for the flight today. There was an update. It asked to install some sort of plugin. I'm not really sure what the plugin is about, but it asked for a plugin installation. Aircraft. Oh, down here already. Oh, La Guardia departure. Right. I know that's me. There's always a delay. That's where I'm sensed on VATSIM.
Negative, Captain. This is non-negotiable. Change course immediately, or I will be forced to blow you out of the sky.
Turn the wheel. Turn the wheel right now, Captain.
Hey, who was that? Huge Delido. Thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on board. And there's another quite long stretch here. Past that corner. A lot of ATC today. I would have imagined that there was a little bit more ATC, but today it's relatively quiet. Because normally at this time there's a little bit more of a chance than when I'm on at 10 or 1100 Z, but even today is not that busy one. Yes, I'm not sure what that Volanta plugin is doing. I installed it, but yeah, there was an update. Yeah. I think they introduced new features, but I'm not sure what that plugin is. I'm kind of reluctant, you know, to install things on the PC without knowing exactly what they do, because you know, that Twitch soundtrack I was using a few weeks ago to have like music in the background totally messed up, you know, my PC. You know, the sound was messed up. The whole thing was a catastrophe actually. VPilot was messed up. Windows Media Player, and what's the name of the other software that plays videos on you know, on Windows 10? That was like corrupted and everything. A total mess. Total mess. So not a good thing. So all those plugins and stuff, I'm kind of reluctant, because then it's a pain to try to troubleshoot the problem. Volanta. Oh yeah, I changed it the other day. Didn't want to attract the crowd. That's it, it's public again. Yeah, because when I did the flight yesterday, I said to test the thing. I made it private, so cool. No, now you can see me again. So yeah, hopefully that plugin is good. I don't know what it's supposed to do, but that's the thing. There's very little documentation about Volanta, so they ask you to install further things, and we don't know what it does anyway. Oh, you installed P3D version 5 and it wouldn't work. Oh. And in what way it didn't work? It wouldn't launch, or it would crash, or what happened? Because I was thinking actually maybe I'm still trying to weigh the pros and cons, but maybe to try version 5.3. But yeah, when I read stuff like that, it's maybe not good. The VRAM usage is way too high for the GPU. Okay. What GPU do you have, if I may ask? Because at least you got a refund, so if you purchase and they are kind enough to refund, then that's good, you know, you're not stuck with... Oh yeah, the GTX 970, yeah. Yeah, that one is maybe a little bit on the light side in particular, yeah, for the VRAM, yeah. Because I think, is it 8 or 16 they require, something like that? At least probably 8. So if you've got 4, yeah, it's gonna run out of memory. At least it's a good sign, because it shows you that it uses a little bit more of the GPU than, you know, the CPU. So recommended is 8 GB. Yeah, the 970 or the 960 was my first GPU on my first setup here for the flight simulation. But yeah, you kind of, at the time for FSX and the earlier versions of P3D, maybe it was okay. But yeah, nowadays it's a little bit underpowered. Yeah. Philadelphia ground. Oh, cool. We're gonna go very far with that. Excellent. Oh, and Chicago Center is on. Ah, it's a shame. It's just on the limits of the flight. Oh well. Yeah, for version 4 I should be okay, yeah. The 970 should be good. Yeah, I can imagine that the type rating is probably quite pricey, yeah. I would imagine so, yeah. It's easily a five-figure amount, easily. So I guess you have to see that as an investment, but when you've already invested, you know, for all the initial training, PPL, CPL, instrument rating, all that stuff, to go also for type rating is, yeah, still an investment, but it's an investment you will do, you know, without, if you could, I'm sure. So. But more and more, that's a little bit the way it goes, huh? Unfortunately, because they know there's a little bit of a surplus of pilots, so they can say, oh yeah, guys, you pay for your training, and then we'll take you, you work for us. And then after that is a big question mark. Yeah, of course. You know, that's now that you've gone so far, it would be a shame to stop here. You know, just because you don't want to to invest anymore. So now you've got to go all the way. Yeah. Yeah, it would be a shame to stop now. Those are good. I really don't think it is the temperature issue anyway. All those crashes recently. And the GPU is with P3D version 4.5 at least. The GPU doesn't struggle really. The GPU is just like cruising along. With MSFS, the GPU is sometimes depends a little bit why your MSFS settings are and stuff, but on MSFS the GPU is going like full blast, I think, depending on your settings and how you set up the GPU as well. If maybe you've got like a little overclock on it, or but do remember like on MSFS looking at the GPU, and the GPU is maxed out. Indianapolis, jeez. I do remember going to Indianapolis and having my suitcase being lost there. That was good fun. Because then we had to go with a colleague, we had to go shopping, you know. There, while you're waiting for your suitcase, you can go and shop. So off we went shopping, trying to maximize the budget which was allocated to us, to get like the basic, like you know, pants and socks and stuff. Then maybe get like a pair of jeans, like get like a couple of t-shirts, a jumper of some sort. That was so funny. Yeah, I think the suitcase ended up, because it was going into Indianapolis on a positioning flight. I can't remember where from and on what airline. Maybe one, like maybe American or something like that. And the suitcase ended up in Nashville, I think. Which we did a flight here for that NFL tour a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, my suitcase traveled to Nashville and then came back. No, this was the shopping allowance was exceptional. It's just because the suitcase had been lost, you know, during the journey, you know. So they said, oh, while you're waiting, because at the end of the day we were not sure if I was ever going to get my suitcase again, you know, because initially they couldn't really locate it. They were not sure where it was, and then eventually they located it and then kind of flew it back to Indy. But so they said, okay, yeah, we'll give you a shopping allowance. So get also some toiletries and stuff like that. So otherwise, now on a normal layover, you don't get like a shopping allowance. On a normal layover, you just get like the basically the food allowance at the hotel. It's nice in a way because you don't have to pay from your own pocket, you know, to when you're on a layover to eat and stuff. So that's a nice thing. but the shopping in itself, that was exceptional, you know, just because of the lost suitcase. I wish there was a shopping allowance every time, man. That would be fantastic. I say, oh, where are we going today? Oh, you're in New York today. Oh, let's go and do some shopping, you know. Oh, today you're in, I don't know, somewhere else. Like, oh, we're in Boston today. Oh, let's go some shopping as well. Let's go to Walmart or to Costco or something and shopping. I've never seen like such a shop like full of shit as Costco, you know, in the US. You go in there and you've got like mountains and mountains of like random stuff. I mean, it's fantastic, and it's really it's another world, you know. It's this kind of shop is crazy, absolutely crazy, man. All those boxes of like biscuits, like mixed up with like televisions and God knows what else. It can be worse than Lidl. Yeah, well, I think it is actually. I think Costco is the symbol of you know, shopping and consumerism and all that stuff. Man. Amazing. Anyway. But it's good fun, you know. Costco, you need actually to be a member. So sometimes the hotels have like a membership card that they would give us, you know. Obviously it's not given on a permanent basis, just lend us the card. Go shopping, or otherwise some colleagues who had some links with the US or something would have like the membership card as well. So the guy like lends you the card and you go shopping in Costco, but you need the card, you need like the membership card. Oh yeah, in China, yeah. I can imagine, yeah. I never ventured like I know like when in Shanghai there was a place we used to stay in Shanghai that was there was one of those huge markets, kind of almost out of the factory, also you know, items, and yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. So I can imagine in China also all these big shops like warehouses and stuff. Wow, that must be that must be lethal. Oh, it's good fun, you know. It's just something different. I like the Lidl reference. Everybody likes Lidl. Right, so this is showing 2026, not too bad. Not gonna be able to climb really, because you've got the max B77. Mind you, oh, it's not gonna ask for it. Cool. So let's have a look at the arrival now, gently, slowly, and then set it up, brief, so that there's no rushed arrivals. So we'll first of all check the weather, see what's doing. There was a forecast for some gusts from the south, so I think it's runway 23 left. That might be a little bit sporty. So meta kind. Yeah, 200 at 19. That's not too bad. Okay, so definitely runway 23 left. Then 3005 is the altimeter setting, which we can reset in the bottom right corner here. The PFD, and we can set it here as well. This one, during the flight you can change the setting because it doesn't interfere with the automation, so you can play around and preset already what you expect on the other side, which is good. The 3005 here is preset, and we can set standard again. Right, so definitely runway 23, it's overcast, a little bit cloudy, 17 degrees for December is not too bad, given that it's not very far from Chicago and stuff. Chicago in the winter is freezing, man. So yeah, kinda is childless, like kindergarten, huh? The garden for the child, yeah. Kindergarten and all that stuff. So Indianapolis. Right, so in departure arrival, we'll go. Oh, it's not showing Indianapolis yet because we're not halfway across. As long as you're still within the first half of the flight, or the first 400 miles, it will show you when you go departure arrival. Hold on. Yeah, when you press departure arrival, it will show you the departure airport. Once you flew 400, you've flown 400 miles, or you're halfway across the flight plan distance, then it will switch automatically to the destination arrivals. So to display the arrivals for the destination, then you'll have to go into the index and then pick up from here. But Indianapolis arrivals will go ILS-23 left, and the arrival was the Snake Pit 2. That's quite funky. Snake Pit 2 arrival. There you go. And the last waypoint was Rinty, I think, so that will be the transition. And then I guess via Klang. We'll see. We'll execute that and then we'll look at the chart and see what it's like. Cool. So, now on the actual charts. We'll take our time and come across here. Indianapolis. Navigraph is again slow to load. Come on, normally it's a little bit quicker. And the wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round. It's a very appropriate song, going round and round. Come on, why is it doing this today? Sometimes to reset it helps. Oh, this is really strange. That's the first time is like so slow. Oh, that's it. Right, so the stars, we've got the Snake Pit 2 on our arrival here. I'll add it to the pin board and let's have a look. Rid of this. So we're looking at Indianapolis here, Indiana, and the Snake Pit 2 on our arrival. And we're coming from Rinte here. So in the FMC, we've got Rinte here, which is good. Then we've got Jitter at flight level 240 above. That's correct. Jitter here, flight level 240 above. Then we go to Dotke. Dotke is here 230 below. That's correct, with the line above the number, that means at or below, with the B in the FMC. And then to a snake pit between 190 and 14,000. So we got snake pit in the FMC 190 and 14,000. The stream swallows all the bandwidth. Yeah, I mean, normally it's a little bit faster than that, so I'm not really sure. Maybe the servers on their side are a little bit slow today, or I don't know. Normally it's quicker, so. Snake pit, then we've got Babne, 11.5 and 15,000, so that's set as well. And then to CCUK. Okay, or whatever. Or okay, cool. Then there's a little note for runway 23 left and right transition. See the inset. The inset up here, runway transitions. From Sisuk we go to Femgo between 8 and 9. We got 9 and 8, so that's good. And then we've got Larry at 210 and 5,000 feet. We got Larry 210 and 5,000 feet. Then there's a discontinuity for the moment. Have to discontinue out. Okay, so that's the arrival. And then I'm sure it's going to be just a matter of linking the arrival to the ILS and get rid of the discontinuity here in the FMC. So shouldn't be too bad, fingers crossed. So for the ILS, we go on to the approach tab, and you see the approach tab came up very quickly here. And 23 left. So same thing, we've got Indianapolis, Indiana, ILS or localizer runway 23 left, in our case ILS. The frequency is 11:15, approach course 230. At Pacer, which is the reference to the basketball, 2,600 feet here. Minima 990. So it's a little bit elevated, and the airport elevation is 796 here. Cool. So Klang, actually, we don't need, because Klang is a transition from like the north there. So the arrival there starts at Larry, which we have here then, and then to the Burned. Okay, so we got a repeat of Larry here in the FMC. So what we'll do is take Larry here and set it underneath itself. No, it's not gonna work like that here. So just put it on top of itself then. Basically, that's it. So you still have Femgo Larry, and then from Larry to the B-Burned, and then to Pacer. So B-Burned is on the vertical profile here, 4,000. So B-Burned 4,000, and then Pacer 2,600. So what we'll try to achieve, of course, is not to go down each step like this, but it's to basically manage a continuous descent approach, where basically you respect all those altitude constraints, but you don't go down to each of those altitudes every time. You don't kind of play yo-yo, you know, you just kind of go down in one go, basically. Yeah. And then to the runway. Cool. And if there's a missed approach, it's a left turn heading 100. So we got runway track initially, 1,500 feet, and then heading 100 to Osmo. 100 goes to Osmo, yeah. And in the text description, 3,000 feet, yeah. Cool, so that's all in there. Exit. Beautiful. So we are in business, top of descent and 260 miles. Yeah, it's another one of those funky, I don't know, RNAV waypoints all the way around on the arrival, on the approach. There's the pacer, obviously, reference is to do with the basketball. There was like a racer or something somewhere, snake pit. I'm not really sure, but yeah, it's all those funky names. I have that one as well. Reference. Cool. And then for the taxi, once we land, FB here. Runway 23 left. We'll probably, I don't know if we'll manage this exit here. Charlie 7. I'll try maybe with auto brakes. It might work. Maybe auto brakes 4. Try to make this Charlie 7 exit and then go on to Charlie. Most probably uniform, come around, and I think I've got the gate set at Alpha 17 here. So yeah, we'll go to brakes 4. We'll ask for a bit of a bigger braking effort. Can do it. Beware of the snake pit. Yeah. Not a big fan of snakes. Oh god. Cool. So that's pretty much it, really. So let me set the minima. We said it was 990. Come up here. Find it up. The mouse wheel is not too bad. 990. Here we are, and we'll work out VREF. So it shows we're gonna be landing with around 10.9 tons. So well, 11 tons. And that will add up to 219, so that's gonna be basically 219 plus 11, that's gonna be 230. So our gross weight for the landing is gonna be 230 tons, which is a kind of, you know, normal weight. Flap 30 is gonna be 143. And of course on the final approach, like always, fly VRF plus 5, so 148. As I said, we've got auto brakes 4. So we got a VRF setting here, minima 990, the altimeter is preset. You can do this already. Yeah, that's it. Bob's your uncle. Excellent. Let's brief FS to crew. Bring the briefing tab. I go approach briefing, so we're gonna follow the star. There's no really any vectoring anyway. It's gonna be an ILS Cat 1. The minima all the way 990. Landing flap 30. Runway for the moment is dry. We'll go to brakes 4. We'll have the APU started and keep the SDEX. That's the transponder on the ground. So keep the transponder on. It used to be that the transponder was switched off, and on VATSIM very often they used to ask you, you know, mode Charlie only on the runway and on the taxiways and stuff to have it switched off. But more and more, you know, nowadays the transponder is used on the ground because ATC has, you know, some sort of like ground movement radar. So having the transponder on the ground helps ATC visualize where the various aircraft are and kind of enhance the radar returns they get from the ground movement radar. So we kind of tend to keep it on. And even if there's no radar on the ground for a particular airport, then you keep the procedure the same regardless of the circumstances. We're gonna go to a gate, and the concerns are weather and terrain, like always. Cool. Let's do descent checklist. Descent checklist.
Stand by. Descent checklist. Recall. Checked. Notes.
Checked.
Auto brake level 4. Landing data.
Set and checked.
VREF 143. Minimums 990 feet. Approach briefing.
Completed.
Descent checklist complete.
Fantastico. Cool. Okay. So that's all done. Going on in the world. I'm glad that Twitch is fixed now, because that's like early on. Oh yeah, Twitch is broken. It's not working. It's like, damn. Really? Just come in a little bit and things don't work. But no, it's working fine. Excellent. The top of descent at 20:05 is now 19:34. Oh, very efficient today. Get the briefing done half an hour before. But at least there's no rush. If at the end there's a BATC coming up, if there's a reroute or something, then sometimes on VATSIM and stuff it gets quite busy. It only have Chicago, but as I said earlier on, it doesn't really cover the route, unfortunately. It's just a little bit to the north. Alright, let's do a little bit of music again. We love the music. Let's get the emote like pumping. Ah, bugger. I've lost the page. Yeah, it's coming up. Oh, it's amazing. There was a shot of the moon. The moon is up. Yeah, the moon is well, if it sets to the east, then it's about to set, but the moon is sitting over the horizon here. Amazing. Hey, Crooner 777, how are you doing? What's up? What's up? Well, today flying to Indianapolis on one of those NFL tour flights today. So today we are flying from Boston to Indianapolis. Almost there, about half an hour or 25 minutes to the top of descent. That's Pittsburgh, not Speed. How did I say that last time? Flew to Pittsburgh and I called that like Speedburg or something like that. Not Speedburg, it's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's a little bit cloudy. No. To see. Yeah, going to Pitt. Hey, Chaz, good evening. What's the what is the average amount of fuel you would land with in the triple or maybe any aircraft? Well, the final amount of fuel will obviously depend on the aircraft type, because it's not going to be the same, for example, on a 777 or on a 737 or 320 or something. So, because they will depend mostly on the fuel you need then to divert and all these things. But on the 777, we kind of land typically between, let's say, 7 tons and 9 tons, really. So, on a typical flight. And then after that, then it depends how far the alternate is. If the alternate is right next door, then of course the fuel to the alternate is only maybe 3 tons, and you've got the last 30 minutes, which also represents about 3 tons, 3.2 tons, something like that. So if you saved a little bit of fuel, and depending how the flight plan the fuel, then yeah, you land with about 7 tons, 8 tons, something like that. However, if it's further alternate like today, for example, with the alternate being Chicago and requiring a decent amount of fuel to go to Chicago, then it's landing with 11 tons, which will be on a similar flight in real. This will be quite realistic. Yeah. So yeah, that's about that. On a 737, for example, typically, if I remember, like we used to land with 2.9, 2.8, 3 tons, something like that, around the 3 ton mark, really. I do believe that on Airbus is maybe a little bit less, because I think it burns a little bit less fuel. So on landing, maybe land with 2.5 or something, I don't know. But 2.5, you still have, you know, comfortably more than 1 hour of fuel left. With airlines, it's a bit of a funny thing going on, because as you know, guys, they don't in the airlines, any airline, I'm not like particularly talking about one, but all the airlines try to be quite efficient with the fuel, and on a flight they're gonna give you most of the time only the required legal fuel for the flight. Or 10,000 pounds. Oh god, the pounds. Then for me, I don't I don't understand the pounds, man. 10,000 pounds. About 6. Let's ask Google. Remember, if you don't know, Google is your friend. 10,000 lbs to kilos. Oh, 4.5. I know 4.5 on a 777 is a little bit tight. I mean, it's okay. You're still flying. Don't get me wrong, but 10,000 pounds of fuel on a 777 is a little bit tight, to my liking. Because that This is a little bit technical, and that probably goes beyond the realm of the simulation and everything, but when you get to 4.2 tons on the 777, you get that fuel quantity low message on the ICAS, you know, that amber message that pops up, and you theoretically need to do a flap 20 landing. There's a few things you need to do with the aircraft, in particular, switch off all the fuel, switch on all the fuel pumps and things like that. So with 4.5, 4.2, yeah, it's a little bit tight. Because then you have to do a normal checklist and all that stuff. The checklist is here, we can have a look. Let's open the... But yeah, when you get to 4.2 with 2.1 in one tank, then it's gonna give you the fuel quantity low, which is a bit of a pain in the backside, really. There is fuel quantity low. So the fuel quantity is low in the main tank. To decide if a fuel leak is suspected, no, if you arrive at destination with like 4.2 or less, and that the fuel consumption has been pretty much like normal, yeah, as long as you have enough for taxi through, then that shouldn't really be the case. You shouldn't be concerned about fuel leak. But and then it tells you avoid high nose-up attitude, make thrust changes slowly and smoothly. This reduces the chance of uncovering fuel pumps. So there's already a few things to think about. Here they're trying to troubleshoot, see if it's a fuel leak, but we said we can kind of disregard that. Fuel leak is suspected, yes or no. In our case, we'll say no. And then yeah, you have to open one of the crossfeed valve. As I said, all the fuel pumps on, plan to land on at the nearest suitable airport, of course. And then, oh surprise, ground proximity flap override. So it's that one here, which means you're gonna use non-standard landing flap settings. So flaps 20. Here is use flaps 20, VRF 20. So as you can see, it's a little bit of you know, it's not ideal, because you start like looking at a normal checklist and all that stuff. It becomes a little bit different. That's at 4.2, and to be even more accurate, because sometimes the fuel is not exactly balanced, it's whenever the total is 4.2 and one of the tanks is down to 2.1. So for example, if it's you know, 2.1, well, it will be 2.1 and 2.1, but it could be I think actually it's when one tank reaches 2.1 regardless of the quantity. So if it's like 2.1 and 2.3, the total will be like 4.4, sorry, but it will still give you the fuel quantity low message. So anyway, that's as that goes a little bit beyond the realm of the simulation. If you fly on the sim and you don't give yourself like comfortable fuel, then it's a little bit silly. No, I'm going to Indianapolis, schooner. Indianapolis is today. But in the flight planning, you know, the fuel for all airlines is relatively tight. You don't fill up the aircraft for every single flight. You only take the fuel that is required for the flight. And the fuel is really, you know, as per the flight plan here, you've got the taxi fuel. So the taxi fuel, for example, on a 777 will be, yeah, around 800 kilos, maybe sometimes a little bit less if it's a short taxi or not. That will be determined statistically, mostly. The amount of fuel required for the taxi. Then there's what we call like the trip fuel, which is basically the fuel required from the moment of takeoff until we land, with all the climb and descent and everything. Then there's a contingency based on the trip fuel. So in this case here today it's 5% of the trip fuel. But as you can see, because the trip fuel is not too much, or 777 at least, the contingency in itself is not too much either. It's only 800 kilos. And then you've got the what's in the FMC reserve, so 9.1, which is the sum of the fuel to go to the alternate, which is Chicago, so kind of requires a decent amount of fuel there. And then the final reserve, which is the last 30 minutes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So there's no like tons and tons of available fuel that you take with you. It's just this is the minimum legal requirement. And to be fair, most of the time that's what we take, because you know we try to be efficient and everything. So you're not gonna load extra fuel just for the sake of it. What you have to realize is that extra fuel basically adds weight to the aircraft, and heavier aircraft in turn burns more fuel. So it's a bit of a kind of catch-22 situation, because you take more fuel, but by taking more fuel you burn more fuel. So you see that from an efficiency point of view, it doesn't it doesn't work. Crooner 777, do you have the scenery for kind? No, it's just like modified AFCAD I found online, but no, it's not like a fancy scenery for kind. KFC, how you doing? And French Gab, bonsoir, bonsoir, ça va? Ça mousse, ça gaz. How do you work out the cost index, and how do you find them? The cost index is a bit of it's a bit of a funny formula, but basically it tries to find a compromise between the cost of the fuel and the cost of running the aircraft. So paying for the crew, paying for the engineering along the aircraft flies, and how often he has to do all those regular checks and everything. So in a time where fuel is cheap, then they can increase the cost index, because with the high cost index then you fly faster, but obviously you burn more fuel. And then vice versa, when fuel is a little bit expensive, then the cost index drops, and gonna fly slowly and try to be a little bit more efficient on the fuel burn. The cost index, you can't really find the cost index around. It's really like an airline specific thing, and very often, like in the airline as well, as far as I'm concerned, like the cost index kind of varies quite a bit from flight to flight. Some airlines have a cost index which is fixed for any flight, but other airlines would have a kind of varying cost index depending on, you know, the flight time and the nature of the flight and things like that. So Sagas, cool, French Gap. But yeah, KFC, it's to find the cost index is really specific to the airline. So unless you have like insider information or something, then it's not like widely advertised numbers. But like for example, today I've got a cost index here of 120. This is maybe a little bit high, as I said, in today's climate. I think a more reasonable cost index on the 777 will be from, let's say, 10 to maybe something like 60, so in the 10 to 60 range. But 120 is, you know, can be used. You can go up to 250 if you want. there are limitations, of course, also in the simulation here. So 250 in the simulation is not going to give you the correct speed. If I go 250 from decimal 8.4, is not going to increase that much. 847 in the aircraft, it will be at least decimal 8.5. So yeah, so you got to bear that in mind also for the simulation. French Gap, you're wondering why so many Gulf companies fly through Milano and South Swiss airspace when going to the Atlantic, when most others go through EDU and EDYY as Rhine Radar and Maastricht, isn't it? I'm not really sure what the reason for that is. They'll have their reason, I guess, maybe with the way, you know, that they calculate the flight plan with the winds. Sometimes also there's a question of navigation fees involved when the route is determined. So I'm not really sure. Maybe it's a little bit more direct that way. I don't know. So yeah. But very often for the Middle East carriers, from what I saw, like on Flight Radar 24 and stuff like that, a lot of the routes go quite north as well. A lot of the routes going across the Atlantic would go up towards sometimes like via Russia, and then go towards Finland and you know, the north of Scandinavia there. So yeah, it depends on the routes. Oh yeah, does that answer your question, French Gap? I mean, I know it's a little bit maybe a bit of one size fits all answer, but I know I don't really have any particular explanation for particularly, you know, routing through Milano or the south of Switzerland. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure there must be a question of wind patterns for the route. So if you're quoting like Qatar or Emirates, going obviously back from the US or going to the US, there must be like it must be a matter of winds, you know, where the most advantageous winds are for today, because that doesn't sound to me like it's the usual pattern. So it's really depending on the winds. Sometimes you would have, like, you know, the flights on a more like southerly route over the Atlantic, so then that would take you maybe over France, or even sometimes over Spain and stuff like that. But very often those flights would also go all the way up, like north of Scotland, and then onto Scandinavia, and then onto Poland, and then back down that way. So it really depends on the wind patterns. I think that's what dictates the route, above all on a long flight like this, you can imagine. And the position of the jet stream as well, mostly over the Atlantic, because that's where it all starts basically. You know, try to pick up the jet stream if you go eastbound, of course. Try to pick up the jet stream over the Atlantic, and then see if the jet stream continues somewhere in Europe. Try to stick to it as well, as long as it makes sense with all the other factors, as I said, with navigation charges and things like that. So yeah. To answer the question also about the 1500-hour rule for the ATP in the US, yeah, in the US they decided that once you qualify with the minimum licenses, then you still have to do 1,500 hours before you're eligible to fly in an airline, whereas it's true in Europe after 250 hours you can fly a 320 or a 737. The one thing is that in the US they've got a little bit more of dynamic general aviation market. There's a lot of instructing jobs, there's a lot of general aviation jobs which are not really available in Europe, So how are you supposed to build the hour? I will be quite happy, doing some instruction, maybe flying a King Air or something, and work my way up. I think in the US this is a little bit more possible, but in Europe it's a little bit kind of doesn't really happen, doesn't exist. So what do you do? So yeah, it's I think in the US they can kind of afford in a way to do it, because as I said, they've got a good general aviation industry, and but in Europe there's no there's no flying. It's like in Australia. I've worked with a few Australian guys, and they say, well, I used to fly in the bush, and I used to fly a little bit of cargo. Well, cargo. It was not like tons and tons of cargo, but flying cargo into like remote communities and stuff. This is not the type of flying that you can do in Europe. That doesn't exist. So when you've got such a system in place, then maybe you can ask for guys to have 1,500 hours, because if you do like one of those general aviation jobs for a couple of years, you'll get to the 1,500 hours quite quickly. But in Europe, it's near impossible. So. Oh yeah, the Part 121 and all that stuff. It's complicated. It's like all the legal stuff, all the legal. Yeah. No, I'm not keeping up with all those requirements, I have to say. Yeah, sorry, French Cap, I don't mean to be difficult, but just it's just to keep it like low profile, and also to avoid like appearing here as some sort of representative. So I'm not trying to be difficult. I think a lot of the people who come here regularly may have worked out something along the lines of, but yeah. How is the controlling? I've not done so much controlling recently, so I need to update with the new Iraq in France, which was actually a little bit interesting, because it's free route airspace, but there's a lot of restrictions, and it seems like it's still following pretty much the old routings into the Bordeaux FIR and the Marseille FIR, and also I think in Brest a little bit. So although it's supposed to be free route airspace, but still with a lot of restrictions in the actual routings. So, so yeah, I'll have to come and do some controlling one of these days. Just I'm a little bit busy and stuff, so it's hard. Oh, you're busy as well. How is the training going? Are you almost finished? Oh, and you can get your landing rate predictions. God. When I was testing the PC actually yesterday, at the end, I kind of attended the flight. I let the flight run about the day. As I said, I did the New York to Heathrow flight, so that took 6 hours and a bit to test the computer. So I was not sitting like I did for the cross the pond in front of the PC for 6 hours. I kind of just let it run. I was keeping an eye on it from time to time. It was offline, so I was not bothering anybody. And but I did the descent and the landing. I was in front of the PC for that, and the landing was like, oof. Oh, cool. So 5 more weeks of simulation and then real traffic for a solid year. Oh, yeah, so you get...
Negative, Captain. This is non-negotiable. Change course immediately or I will be forced to blow you out of the sky.
So you get...
sounds a wheel. Sounds a wheel
then an
right
instructor
now,
that
Captain.
keeps an eye over like what you're doing and stuff, but you're pretty much on the job. Huh? Wow. Predict 180. 180 was your flight school call sign. Nice. I'll try to do 180 then. Yeah, air traffic controlling must be a stressful job. Are you doing en route or at the airport? From what you were saying with the questions about the overflights, it must be en route, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes on the radio you can hear. That happens from time to time. There's a controller on the radio who does all the all the controlling. Controller doing the control, and then if it gets busy and there's a couple of mistakes, sometimes you hear and there's another voice behind, like correcting the controller thing, like oh no, descent or stop descent or whatever is correcting the controller. So the voice in the background corrects the controller. And a couple of times I heard actually, like, the correcting voice in the background maybe once or twice, and then for good. So the guy who was doing the controlling was like pulled out of the station, and then the instructor was finishing to control. So it must be tough. It must be really, really tough. In Spain, they're a little bit funny, they don't have a good reputation with pilots. They've got that reputation that they don't want to give directs, that they just working to rule a little bit. I'm not so sure nowadays, but when I was flying, before on the 737, I used to fly a lot to Spain, man. Sometimes it was a bit of get them to give you a direct or something. Oh, request direct to such point. Follow negative. Follow a flight plan. A flight plan route. And so you're flying like that. Yeah, of course. And I mean, at the end of the day, it's not because the air traffic controller instructor like takes over the student. The student is is bad or is failing or anything like that. It's just that if at some point it becomes too much, it's part of the overall learning process. If the instructor has the overall responsibility of the safety of the situation, so it's the same in the aircraft, as you're saying. If at some point the captain with a normal first officer, but maybe not so much in that situation, but more like if it's a training flight and you've got like a new pilot flying with a training captain, at the end of the day, the training captain is responsible for the safety of the flight. So if something doesn't go according to plan, or if the new first officer is kind of a little bit overtaken by the events or whatever, then yeah, that's the duty of the guy to take controls. French pilot, you may experience that. I'm not saying that's not because you're bad or anything, but I think when I was learning initially, on the 737 many years ago, maybe once or twice the guy said, "Oh, I have control," because he was not happy. Sometimes also, they feel a little bit unsure about what you're gonna do because you're relatively new. You don't have too much experience. So if the guy doesn't like basically trust you too much, then maybe he's gonna take control. So yeah. Ah, okay. Oh, so you do oh, VFRs, yeah, VFRs. Yeah, because I was saying, how come en route you don't get too many IFRs? And then I thought maybe you're doing like some sort of like information sector or something. But no, it's en route, yeah, with VFR. Yeah, VFR is a bit of a pain because if it's an information sector, I remember like in the UK, the information sectors were very much like telling you, oh, we've got reported traffic in the area of like such a town or something. That was all they could do, you know. Right, with all that, we've started our descent. I wish it was that straightforward all the time. I will try to, yeah, 240 by GDER or whatever it's called. So that's gonna work out nicely. And we'll put the no electronics on and the seatbelt sign on. Yeah, man, it's at the end of the day, you know, everybody at some point has to learn, so you can't expect everybody to come on the job the first time and be rocking, you know. So you'll find that 99% of people, you know, who've got like an instructing role are like, you know, very nice, and they'll really try to you know, bring you up to speed and stuff. So yeah. Right, so 240 it's gonna work. Now we'll set the next altitude, which is actually 14,000 at Snake Pit. All the other altitudes are like below, so cannot descend below 14,000 feet. But there we go, set 14,000. Well, French pilot, you'll be surprised. I'm sure that if you've flown the FS Labs quite a bit, some of the stuff will be familiar, and when you get all the SOPs and the flows and everything, you'll be able to practice as well in the simulator and the desktop simulation as well. So the flight simulation, although it doesn't teach you to fly the actual aircraft, because it's a totally different like environment and everything, and as I said many times before here, you know, you're sitting on a desk with the screens. It's kind of sterile. It's not like the real thing, but you can practice, you know, the flows and handle, you know, the automation and all that stuff. It's exactly the same because those simulators are good. So I like that macro flight. Yeah, there's less malware on the real Airbus. I would hope so. Yeah, because with FS Labs, I mean, we're not gonna start the, you know, the controversy here, but yeah, they didn't have, at least at some point, they didn't have a good reputation. It was quite dodgy. Yeah. And then, yeah, with the MCC, surely you've picked up a few things as well, yeah. Was the MCC with the airline you're going for, or was it different? Because sometimes the airline would do like specifically tailored MCC course to then take on some of those guys, you know, onto a type rating and onto a job, so. I like that macro flight. Main difference, there's less malware in the real Airbus. Ah, okay, but Airbus SOPs are standardized, yeah. Yeah, for the 777 here, it's the same, you know. The SOPs I use here with FS2 crew, which I believe are the Boeing SOPs for the 777, are fairly similar to what we're doing as well, so. For the moment, French Gap, to be honest, I don't know, because with the current situation with that new Omicron and all that stuff, all the restrictions, the flight I was supposed to do was cancelled, so I'm waiting for like a new assignment. I'm not that's the honest answer. So I don't have any visibility for the rest of the month, because like the flight was cancelled, and then I've got a little bit of time off and stuff, so and the planning for next month is not published yet, so so yeah, that's the honest answer. I'm not trying to yeah, there was a few cancellations, mostly with African countries, so so yeah, that's the way it goes at the moment. It's very dynamic. Hopefully it's not gonna last too long, and I don't know. Oh, I'm sure they'll find something else for me to do. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried at all. But I heard somewhere that they wanted to reopen all the flights to Africa, and because they're now saying that in the UK apparently it's already more than half of the cases with the new thing, and in other places they predict that it's gonna overtake and it's gonna become the dominant variant. So now saying, well,
1,000 feet to level off.
there's no point restricting all the travel because it's already everywhere. So okay. It's been a bit of a funny story, and these last 2 years almost now. It's been really a bit of a carry-on. I just hope this new thing is not gonna reset the clocks to or you know, the timing to, back to 0. You know, not gonna go back to the start. Like in Monopoly, you go back to the start box, and you don't get to get the money when you go past the, you know. How far are we? 46 miles. Okay.
1,000 feet to level off.
Yeah, we have to wait. Yeah, we have to wait 11.5. Okay. Cannot descend below 11.5 until we pass that Papney waypoint. Oh. The it pitched up like quite abruptly there. Wow. Yeah, that's, you know, that's a little bit of the simulation. Super at the moment. Or just on the top of the cloud layer. That's always an amazing moment when you surf the top of the cloud layer there and the descent. Above all, when the rate of descent is reduced, then it lasts a little bit longer. Instead of, you know, descending quite sharply into the cloud layer, you kind of hang around there for a few more seconds. It's always a very spectacular moment. Right, now we can continue the descent. Was it 8,000? 8000 by FEMGO. For the moment it's just decelerating, but oh, I went VNAV out, so I didn't reset the altitude fast enough, so the altitude maintaining mode engaged. Gonna have to descend now. Descend. You were lucky to jump seat a flight last week. Did oh no, to land in Madrid. Oh wow. Oh, so that's good. They let you the airline lets you already kind of they let you become familiar with the operation. They let you jump seat and all that stuff. Yeah, that's really good. If you've got the chance to do a few jump seating flights, I would definitely recommend doing it, because just by watching what the guys are doing, you'll learn a lot. I was not the same airline. Okay.
10,000 feet.
So how did you get to jump seat if it's not the same airline? Because jump seating nowadays is a
Cabin
tricky
crew,
thing,
prepare for
with all
landing.
the security aspects and stuff. Again, after 8,000, 5,000. At 5,000 anyway. We are in VNAV now, like VNAV. Yeah, ATC as well would jump seat, I think, to and it's a good thing actually, to show air traffic controllers a little bit what it's like from the pilot point of view. And I think for pilots as well, it'd be good to sit with air traffic controller and see actually how air traffic control is working. It's important to see the two sides of the coin, you know. It's not just saying, oh, these guys sometimes they push us a little bit too much, or they give us too many instructions at once, or they expect too much, you know, in terms of managing descent and the approach and all that stuff. So it's good to see the two sides of the coin. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because I know there's a lot of constraints with ATC. You've got a lot of airspace constraints, just the way the airspace structure is laid out. Also maybe with military areas around. Yeah, you've got all those constraints where you have to kind of manage to you know, channel the traffic through all those constraints, and I know it's not easy all the time. Yeah, definitely. No, London City Airport I've never been. London City is a little bit of a funny airport because it's very steep. It's a 5.5 degree glide slope, so it's a very steep approach. I've done it in the simulator here before, but it's very extreme. I think it needs a special approval with the aircraft. So no, I've never done it, because I've the 737, like I used to fly before. We were not flying to London City, and we didn't have the approval to fly there. Oh, you got some Blu-rays from Pilot's Eye TV. 6 cameras, 2 pilots, 1 cockpit. Cool. Yeah, definitely in the soup at the moment, man. There's nothing to be seen. God. Those straight-in approaches are the most tricky, because it's easy to arrive hot and fast, you know. We often joke that sometimes due to traffic we ask you to do a 2-degree turn, adjusting with mood S heading, and you cannot see that. This puts you exactly 8 nautical miles behind another traffic and crossing 80 nautical miles later. Yeah, of course. You've got
1,000
the
feet to level off.
you've got the big picture, you know, we are on the aircraft. You think, oh, why is he asking us to turn like this? So you've got the big picture, yeah? And we don't see also what's going on. And I think something that annoys controllers as well is that when we are given like traffic information, and the guys say like, oh yeah, we have the traffic on TCAS. I'm sure this is like annoying to controllers because a kind of as if the pilot is saying, well, we don't need air traffic control, we've got TCAS here. So I'm sure this annoys air traffic controllers. Flaps 1.
Speed check, flaps 1.
Right, let's descend. Flaps 5. Flaps 5.
Speed check, flaps 5.
I need to go down. Yes, there's traffic in sight and it's 20 miles away. Yeah, it's actually sometimes quite difficult to spot the traffic, you know. Sometimes like, where is it? So you try to look outside with a certain scan to see, and yeah, it's quite tricky. Flaps 15.
Speed check, flaps 15.
Right, that was a bit of unrestricted descent there at the end because I didn't. Oh, we got to do this one. Approach checklist. Approach checklist.
Approach checklist. Altimeters.
Set and checked.
Set. Approach checklist complete.
Cool. Yeah. Ooh, 218 gusting. Oh god. So we're gonna add a little bit of speed. Maybe we'll add 2 or 3 knots on the final approach speed. And 3,000 feet is the missed approach, I believe. Yeah, 3,000. Dun 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 dun. Hey, Captain RQ, how you doing? Salut, Samus, Samus. Runway 23 straight ahead.
2,500.
Cabin crew, take your seats.
Gear down. Gear down. That's good. Gear down. Flaps 20.
Speed check, flaps 20.
Ça va, merci, ça va bien. Juste sur l'arrivée sur Indianapolis. Flaps 30.
Speed check, flaps 30.
Landing checklist.
Landing checklist. Landing checklist complete.
Checklist complete. Yeah, you see the aircraft is pointing like So you're flying down and you're like... Good. I remind you that I don't have the pedals and stuff here, so it's purely with the joystick. Right. Let's go. Oh man, it's not doing a good job there maintaining the speed. Right director. Wish me luck. Race for impact. Oh, it's gonna be a SR1. I can feel that one.
1,000 feet.
I can
Approach
feel that
speed.
one coming. Oh.
1,000.
Get your shoulder pads. That's appropriate for your helmets. Very appropriate for like the football theme. It's gonna be a SR1. Get ready. The worst is those wind variations in the simulator, because they are very abrupt and they change the... and there's a little bit of... there's a few downdrafts as well. God. Yeah, those wind variations are like killers in the sim here, because it's so abrupt. For the moment, touch wood, the wind is relatively stable, but it's a little bit shifty in the direction, so... Dun, 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 dun.
Plus 100.
Approaching minimums.
Race for impact, it's coming.
Minimums.
Minimums.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Speed brakes up. Reversers normal.
That will do. Snowy runway here as well. What was the damage? 200. Ah, try the 180. Right, 60 knots. Right, so we made the exit as planned. I like when the plan comes together. Oh, is it even... Which one is this? Did I come out even earlier than I thought I would? No, that's the one. That's the one that was planned. Mind you, yeah, no, this is about of a shitty one actually. Excuse my French. Anyway, we'll manage. Ah, I tried on the 180. Congratulations. Now I'm stuck there. Turn, baby, turn.
Seated with your seatbelts fastened until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign and the aircraft is parked safely at the gate. This will be your indication it is safe to move about the cabin, gather your belongings, and embark. We'd like to thank you for flying with us today. We appreciate your business and hope to see you again on a future flight.
Remember that the nose wheel is way back, of course. Welcome to Indianapolis, Indiana. Right, we'll stop here and we'll look at microflights landing. Ah no, it was already tidied up this. Off the weather radar. Right, we'll stop. Set the parking brake. Here the aircraft doesn't move, but the real aircraft would move if you don't set the parking brake. Just with the engines at idle, it produces enough thrust for the aircraft to actually move. No pressure, you're being observed. Forward. Indianapolis. I'll always remember the adventure with the lost suitcase and that shopping spree there, trying to to manage the budget of the allowance. Like such good fun. Oh hey! Fantastic. FedEx, the world on time. I'm actually expecting a delivery from FedEx at some point, so I think they delivered, but then it's one of those setups where deliver to like a virtual address and then they get it sent to your home address. I think FedEx has done the job. Beautiful. Let's go to the gate. FedEx, the world on time. It's a little bit tight here to turn around, but we managed. APU is running. Which one are we going? Alpha 17, I said. Form. Alpha 7. Oh, Alpha 17 is on the other side of the building. Okay. Around. Cool. Oh well, that didn't go too badly. That was all right. It's like it's nice. I like to do these flights. You know, it kind of shows different procedures, different like airports and stuff. These are places that I don't fly to every day, to say the least. So, but yeah, Indianapolis though I've been, but that was like a special. That was a special flight. Use a little piece of code when landing a good rate. The passengers are clapping. Oh, amazing! Oh, that would be funky. Oh yeah, no, that would be nice indeed. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, you've got like a reaction of the passengers. That's quite neat indeed. Right, turn here. Not really sure about the actual layout of the airport, but not sure if it's a guidance system or if it's with the marshaller. We'll see. We'll have the surprise. Feel free to share it, Roundbar. Is it available? Did you publish it, or is it just for you? Yeah, looking for beta testers. Oh no, it's with yeah. Oh, that's gonna be funky with the marshaller. I think I've not set it 100%. It's only partially set. Lights and doors.
Cabin crew disarm doors and cross-check.
I think I'm gonna bump into him. And he's gonna say like, "Hey, you kill me!" Ah no, every time he gets stuck in the turn. Yeah, I'm gonna kill him. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Needs to cross the arms. Stop! Ah, he's disappeared. I forgot to set up the... I'll leave it here. You killed the marshaller. God. Parking brake set APU is running. So, done. Yeah, normally I thought I had the guidance system set up with GSX, but actually I've not done it. So, my bad. Good. The Marshaller Association is gonna complain now. Kill the Marshaller. I'm still 5 meters short. Yeah, but my friend, the engines are shut down now, so anyway, let's reset the position then. Oh no, he's happy. He's waved. He's surely never gonna give a dance. Yeah, okay. God. Oh well, that was a good. Yeah, the parking is.
I am ready for the checklist.
I did a park actually. It's true. God. Don't do that at home. Don't do that at home. Right, let's do the checklist then. Shutdown checklist.
Shutdown checklist. Parking brake.
Set.
Shutdown checklist complete.
Oh, that's when, you know, the simulation then is a little bit difficult, you know. At least I found it a little bit tricky. Because once again, you don't have all the usual landmarks, visual, like, you know, indications and stuff, so it's tricky. It's okay, the bridge is coming into place, so that's good. It's not given up on us. And let's open. Oh, door, of course, is not open with the center FMC, but open, done. Everybody's like, "Whoa, oh, what a flight, man! We just barely made it." Oof. Must be wondering, man, if is this guy like for real? See, I hope he's not like this when he flies. No, I'm not. But here I can kind of, you know, joke around as well, do a few silly things and stuff. I'm not here to take myself too seriously either. You know, I can discuss like a few techniques, like discuss like procedures, try to a little bit demonstrate how it works, but I can also kind of have fun and do silly things, so get the drift. Welcome to Indianapolis, where the Indianapolis Colts will host the New England Patriots. I believe it's this coming weekend. Gonna be a quite important game, so decide on the post-season. So yeah, here we are, Indianapolis, ahead of schedule. Welcome to yet another on-time flight, American Airlines, for on-time flights and amazing landings. Cool, guys. Thank you, sir. You're very kind. Thank you, thank you. And yeah, week 15. Next week is, what's the plan next week? The plan is list somewhere. Oh yeah, we flew over it. Pittsburgh to Kansas City. Back to Kansas City from Pittsburgh. I mean Pittsburgh. That one was a classic, huh? Like Speedberg. God, that was atrocious. Speedberg. No, it's Pittsburgh to Kansas City next week. But that will be at some point in the middle of next week. So. Choo choo! It says there's a train. Choo choo! Choo choo! Thank you very much, sir. It's very kind of you. I do appreciate it. I saw that in your part of the world, the lockdown is now for the unvaccinated. So hopefully you get to move around a little bit again. Fantastic. Yeah. So next week is Pittsburgh, Kansas City. And then it will be Denver to LAX and finish with Dallas to Philadelphia. Then we'll do on to the postseason, so we'll see what the score is after that. Yeah. Yes, I hope you enjoyed the flight. Thank you very much for joining me today. It was another fun flight. I like to do those flights because, as I said, it kind of shows me something different, and it's nice to different things. But as I said, I'm only gonna be back next week for this because I've got a few things here and there, and so I'm just like taking it easy. So I'll see you next week for the next installment of the tour. So as I said, from Pittsburgh to Kansas City. Might do it maybe on the 737 again. We'll see. Otherwise on the 777. And yeah, hope you enjoyed it. And like always, I'll hang around if you have any last questions or something. This is quite weird. The graphics. I think it's actually with Chase Plane. I was reading something with the Flybeam sceneries that there was a few issues with that was like specific to Chase Plane. I have to look into that a little bit. Hey French Pilot, thank you very much, merci. À la prochaine. Merci. Encore félicitations pour le landing rate. On va te donner les points. Before I forget. The points. It's worth. It's like the pizza, or you go to the coffee shop, you get like a stamp every time you buy something, and then after a while you get I didn't do it properly, damn. Try again. That's it. Cool. Fantastic. That's it. So yeah, I'll keep you posted for the flight next week, and I don't think, as I said, I'll be able to be on before then. So hopefully I'll be back next Tuesday or next Wednesday. At this time, we'll try to see if we can catch some ATC. It's a little bit of a more favorable time for the US controllers to be on. So that's it. But yeah, until next time, thank you very much again for joining me. We had a good chat and everything, so that was good. And have a good rest of the week, a good weekend, and we'll see you at some point next week for the next flight of the tour. But until then, take care, and thank you again for all the kindness and support today, guys, and we'll see you next time. Thank you again. See you soon.